Hi. Oops. Oops. I just say oops all the time. Oh, how's everybody doing? Oh, Bridget, I like that you did that with the script name. I think that's a really good idea. What she's doing is, and I suggested everybody do this, is for your actually I don't have to record this part. I don't know why not. Well, when you're doing your pitch roundtables, if you're doing a pitch roundtable, if you're doing the conference badge, you should put your this name of your script next to your name. So it'll be like whatever your name is hyphen the script's name. It's just a good way for the exec to not forget what your script name is, so they could associate it with yours. Yay, Bridget! I'm glad. I'm glad. So I just wanted to come on a little early to start catching some questions. If anybody got the questions. Sorry, I'm in the lobby. I have the link for my sessions. I don't see the session that starts at 9, and I am with Joey before. How do I find that? Okay. Sorry, I feel like I'm having a lot of questions in the lobby. If you're not in the Zoom lobby, feel free, well, not now, but feel free to join, to be there like throughout the whole conference. That's kind of where the green room is going to be. That's where I'm going to be the whole time, just like fielding questions, et cetera, et cetera. I'll kind of repeat that when more people come on. I know I'm a little early, but does anybody else have any questions? Hi, Thomas. Yeah, like what you did too with your script name next to your name. I think that's a really good idea. I'm just kind of like sifting through Twitter, Facebook, and my email to see if anybody has any questions. Oh my God, who was on the Netflix webinar yesterday? Who was on it? Wasn't it amazing? It's so good. I was obsessed. Happy conference day, everybody. It was just exciting. Well, hold on a second, because somebody from Roadmap's calling me. Oh, cool, Bridget. That's awesome. Oh, I'm so glad you saw it. Awesome. Who's excited? I did a nice little workout this morning, 5 cups of coffee, all ready to go. Sorry, David. Yay, I'm glad, Madeline. It's gonna be so much fun. Oh, yeah, Rachel, it was intense. But no, it was really fun. Well, maybe not fun. Fun's not the right word, but it was very something. I'm glad that it all came together. I'm now noticing that the Zoom lobby conversation could branch out into side conversations, which is a little interesting, but yeah, Alex emailed me at 4 a.m. Yes, she is a machine, amazing. She's really the one who put this all together, like for real. Anybody else have any questions before I do my little spiel in about 5 minutes? Any questions from anybody? So I'm just texting some instructions to people. Testing to see if my project name is now showing up in my name. Jeremy, it's not. It's not. I could do it. No, I don't know if I could do it for you. I might be able to do it for you like in this panel, but I don't know if it stays throughout the whole thing. So anybody else have any questions? I think it has to be done on his profile for Zoom. Oh, okay. That's me not knowing what that means. I'm like, okay. Yeah. You could also just click on your name, Jeremy, and then just do rename. And that's really all you have to do. It's super easy if you don't have to like do the Zoom thing. Just like next to your name. What's your script's name, Jeremy? Do you want to write it down? Does anybody else have any questions? I could see you. No, I'm just kidding. No, I can't see. I think I added my name. Let's see, Madeline. No, Madeline, I don't see that you did. Rename. Okay, Jeremy, I just added yours. So all you have to do is click, hover your mouse. I don't know. I think you just have to, I forgot how to do it. I could do it myself, but just like look at your name. There should be a blue box that comes up and just rename it. And then that should come up. I mean, it's not mandatory. Don't feel like this is like do or die. But it is. No. Anybody have any other questions? So again, let me just actually go back into the lobby. All right, yes. So I'm going to be in the lobby the whole time to keep track of everything, answer some questions. So if you have any questions, maybe don't email, just go into the lobby and ask them because the email might be a little crazy. I mean, you could. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So yes, I feel like all the sessions will be recorded. So if you miss one, you will get the recording. The Netflix one wasn't, but we have like a bunch of notes. It was so amazing. So we will be doing that for sure, sending that out. If you follow us on Twitter, you could I swear I'm not just like saying that to force you guys to follow us on Twitter. I feel like I said it a lot, but everything's there. Also, if you do want to like do stuff on Twitter, do a hashtag, and you can see other writers that are attending and stuff like that. Also, in the Zoom lobby, there will be time that execs might pop in as well to take questions. So just a good idea just to kind of chill in the lobby and say hi, just let us know that you're there. So stuff like that. Join us. Okay, cool. Anybody else have any questions? Imagine this whole weekend is me just asking if you guys have questions. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be hilarious? So I'm trying to see what else. I'm gonna wait a couple of more minutes just before. Oh, good. Everybody's talking in the lobby now. Oh, this is gonna be this. Oh, the caffeine just hit me. It is all hitting me right now. I think I have toothpaste on my stomach, my chest. I can't find, I feel like a moron, but can't find the lobby. It's in the Zoom link that you would have received from Alex. That's where when you click on it, it'll take you right into the Zoom lobby. So search your inbox and spam for Zoom, and then that'll come up. Okay, people are asking where the thing is. So it's, let me just, actually, you know what? Let me just do this. This might be a little easier. I was nervous. I was like, nobody's talking in the Zoom lobby, but now it's like, la, la, la. So that's good. I'm glad you all figured it out. Okay, webinars. Let me just send this to. let me send this, put this in the thing. This and do this. Okay, I guess, and Gwen, just email me if you can't find it. Actually, email Alex because she has like the power to do that. Okay, so let's start. If I have to, I don't want to take wait too long so Nick doesn't come in and I can't say anything. So, okay, so if anybody has any questions, again, just go into the Zoom lobby, and then that's where you will go to. Sorry, I always ask questions. You'll go into the Zoom lobby. If you don't know where you're, hi Lisa, glad you found it. If you don't know where the Zoom lobby is, search your inbox for Zoom. Zoom would have sent everybody an invite to join the lobby. So that's where you'll find it. So just search your inbox for Zoom, and then you'll register to get into the lobby. And yeah. Okay, so now I'm getting distracted by these questions. So somebody says a few pitch roundtables are missing links in the schedule. So if you don't see a link in the full master list, it means that the exec is doing a panel first. If an exec is doing a panel first, that means the panel will be 30 minutes. And afterwards, the writers that are pitching to that person will be promoted to panelist. And they will then have the opportunity to pitch in a roundtable. So if you don't see, if you're on the master list, and if you don't, not on the lobby, but in the other email that we sent out with like all the pitch roundtables and all the workshops, if you don't see a link there, that means that they're doing a panel first. So go into the Zoom lobby, go under sessions, and then just join that. And then after 30 minutes, we will say, okay, great. Carrie, you're pitching, Lisa, you're pitching, and then we'll promote you to panelist. So all you really have to do, in short, is that if you don't see a link in the main master list, go to the Zoom lobby, and you'll see it there. And if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, just go to the Zoom lobby and then I will point you in the right direction. That's that. That's one of the main things. Everybody gets 5 minutes with your, in your pitch. So after that, you will, we're very like, not now, this isn't a pitch, this is a panel, but for the pitch roundtables, you get 5 minutes and that's how long you get. There's no like extension. You get 5 minutes and then from there, we'll cut you off or the exec off. And then if they're in the middle of a sentence or middle of a conversation and get to the next person, just to keep things moving along. So don't be mad if we do cut you off. It's just, we want to keep things going. Let me see what else. If you're not scheduled for a pitch session, you can still audit, but you can't pitch. There's no like, in some sessions, things that we do, the auditors sometimes have an opportunity to pitch too. Not for this, the auditors can audit only, even if there seems to be room. There is just for the writers who sign up for the conference badge to the actual pitches. A couple of things overall. One of the main reasons why we're doing this, conference is not only to educate you all and put you in front of execs and put you in front of amazing people like Nick Santor, who I'm obsessed with. It's gonna be so awesome. And all the panelists are going to be great. But it's also to raise awareness and benefit an animal rescue that I'm a part of called the Animal Rescue Mission. theanimalrescuemission.org is our website. A portion of the proceeds from this is going to go to the Animal Rescue Mission, where we rescue animals on an almost daily basis from all over the globe, and sometimes in very scary situations. So thank you for everybody for joining this. Know that not only will you gain from this, but dogs and cats in need will benefit as well. The rescue is called the Animal Rescue Mission, and the website is theanimalrescuemission.org. If you are looking to foster an animal in the Los Angeles area, please let me know. There's 2 amazing dogs that we're trying to find homes for. One is an amazing dog we found from Mexico, who is paralyzed like this, I don't want to say the waist down, but like the back end. So we do need somebody who's okay with helping the dog go to the bathroom every so often. He's so sweet. And there's another dog these are the kind of dogs I love. It's a 100-pound angel, super sweet, very scared. God knows what happened. But so if anybody lives in Los Angeles and wants to foster, please. Yeah, so it's actually the animalrescuemission.org. I don't know what the .com is, but it's .org. Oh, cool, Lisa, awesome. I'll message you. Yeah, there's so many dogs in need right now, and there's 2 specifically that we are really looking for a home for. There's that. The other thing too, just quickly, I know I'm like throwing out all these things, is I don't know if you all know Kevin Houvain. He's the head of CAA. He's a dear friend of mine. He's an amazing ally of Roadmap. He's done some stuff with us. He's amazing. Sorry to start on a more somber note, but his brother just took his own life. So he is promoting an amazing organization to help people that suffer from mental illness. The website is donate.nami.org. I'll put it in the chat box as well. I just wanted to raise awareness for that. Kevin is literally one of the sweetest people ever, and this is all going to that charity to help people that suffer from mental illness. I don't know if you saw that in the trades, what happened to his brother. It's really sad, but I love Kevin, so I wanted to share that as well. So 2 things just to kind of bring to your attention is Animal Rescue Mission and that one I just said. Both are great organizations, and yeah. So not to start with all that somberness, but thank you everybody for, it's not somber because we are making, strides to help people and animals that need it. So yeah, and again, if you want to foster and live in the Los Angeles area, come to Papa. Okay, that was weird. Hey, Terry.
Hello, hello.
Terry. Hi.
I'm here.
Terry is going to be your moderator today. So super excited. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to, let me just check something really quickly. Okay, yeah, just sleeping in Alex. And yeah, so for this one, it's 30 minutes. We have some pre-screen questions for Nick. If time permits at the end, you could ask questions as well. Don't put it in the chat box, put it in the Q&A box. On the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see a Q&A box. In any of these panels, please ask questions that will benefit everybody. Questions like, how do I get in front of you? How do I pitch to you? All that stuff will not be asked. Out of the hundreds of questions that were asked yesterday for the Netflix one, I would say probably 99% of them was that. So it was really hard to kind of sift through those questions. But so just make sure that those questions, it's appropriate questions, so it doesn't make anybody feel uncomfortable. And so yeah, so put in the Q&A box, not the chat box. The reason why is because sometimes people write so much in the chat box, it's harder to find. Yeah. So Terry, how are you?
I'm great. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fun.
I know, I'm so excited. You were the grand opening for this, so I'm very excited. Here. We have a very full conference. I think we had 500 writers sign up. So just bear with me. It takes a little while for me to respond to you if you have a question. But yeah, so I see that Nick is on. So I will promote him to panelist. Actually, Terry, do you know how to do that?
No, not in a webinar. I don't.
I'll
Sorry.
promote him to panelist, and then I'll make you the host.
Great.
And then you could take over. And yeah, let's get this conference started. I'm so excited. Okay. Hey, Nick, how are you?
Hello, let me get the video up. How are you?
Good, how's it going?
It's going very, very nicely. How are things going with you?
Good, we're just starting this conference. We're so excited to have you. Are you in LA?
I am, yes.
Okay, well, thanks for doing this on a Saturday at 9 a.m.
No,
Before I send this over to Terry, I just want to thank you. There's a few writers that I know and work with that are part of your room, and they just literally glow about you and say that you feel so comfortable and supportive. So thank you for what you're doing for up and coming writers. It's amazing.
Oh, no, I'm just doing my job.
I love it. Cool. Well, Terry, I'll make you the host, so then you
Wonderful.
could take over. And then Nick, you're in great hands with Terry, and we will talk soon.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Nick. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Doing
to
well
meet
this morning?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm great. It's actually a little afternoon for me in Connecticut, so I'm alive and full of coffee and ready to go. So
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Where in Connecticut are you?
I'm in a tiny little farming town in the northeast corner called Pomfret Center. It's cow country. So
That sounds awesome.
it is. It is. Well, it's awesome now that the snow's melted. I like the winter, but we had a lot of snow this year. So
Okay.
looking for spring. But anyway, if you're ready, we will jump in.
I'm ready.
Okay, great. So
Are you
if
going
wanna-
to ask me the questions or should I just go through the questions that are?
I'll ask them. I'll ask them.
Okay,
so you don't
wonderful.
have to worry about it. So if you want to give the folks just a little bit about you, and then we'll jump into the questions.
Sure. Thank you. Start now or?
Yes. Oh, yes, please. Go ahead.
Oh, are people watching me now?
Yeah, we got 83 people on.
Oh, hello, everybody. Hi. My name's Nick Santora, and I'm a writer. I write film and television. I'm in my 22nd year of doing it. Time's gone by fast. And I'll be honest, I didn't know much about this, and I found out yesterday from the writer who I've known for a while, who had mentioned this to me and asked me to participate, that this is for an animal charity or something like that, which I didn't know. And I think that's, I love dogs. So I think that's wonderful. So thank all of you for donating to an animal charity. That's great.
Yeah, Joey runs, participates in something called the Animal Rescue League, and they do a lot of great work. So you can get with him if you're interested, or the link is somewhere in the chat box, but it's a really great organization. So awesome, another animal lover on board. We love that.
I
We
love
it.
dogs.
Okay.
I love dogs. Yeah.
Why don't we jump into the questions? So
Sure.
right, the first question is, what's your favorite thing about being a showrunner?
Being involved in bringing a story to a visual medium in a way that I never thought I would have ever been able to. Being a showrunner in television is great because I've written movies, and very often when you write a movie, they'll take the script and they'll say, "Thank you so much. Don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out," and that's it. Show running, you have a lot more creative control. Is this answer too long?
Oh, no, please.
Okay.
All the time you need.
As a producer, people that aren't in the business often think that producers mean different things. I remember an AD once said to me on a show I was working on, and she was a wonderful AD and she had been in the business a long time. And she said, "Well, you're the producer, so you put up the money to make this?" And I was like, "How much money do you know?" I go, "These episodes are over the millions of dollars an episode." I'm like, no. The studio pays for that. I go, "I'm just an employee like everyone else." But the producer title allows you to have creative input as a writer that you don't have in film. You just don't, unless you're really a bigwig, and I'm not. I'm not Steven Spielberg or J.J. Abrams or any of those kind of people. They're much more accomplished than I am.
Sure.
But there are certain areas that you just don't really have any say in, nor should you have any say in. And the biggest area of that is like stunts. I don't know anything about stunts. I don't know how to make sure a stunt is done safely. All I do is write an action sequence, and then the people that are in charge of that, people that are trained, people that know what they're doing, they make sure it's done safely. And if they tell me, "Hey, we know, I don't know, I'm making something up, but you want the car to fly off of the parking garage roof and through a helicopter door and then land on a boat," we ain't doing that. Like, someone's going to get hurt, then I have to rewrite it so that it can be done in a way that's safe. So there are certain areas that I just have no say in whatsoever. But wardrobe, casting, set deck, props, all of that stuff goes through me at some point. Do I have final say on everything? No. The studio and the network always have final say on stuff. But my voice is heard, and it's hopefully appreciated. And that's what I like about show running is, other than a playwright or maybe a novelist, where, you know, and even novelists have to deal with editors. My understanding is the hierarchy is probably playwright and then novelist and showrunner and then feature writers all the way down here. Unless, of course, you're a huge feature writer, of which I
Yeah,
am.
of course. Awesome. So when a writer comes to you and is interviewing for your room, what is it you're looking for in that writer?
Like, it really depends on the show.
Mm,
You know, if I'm writing I'm making this up, but if I'm writing well, I don't have to make it up. I'm doing a show right now about the CIA. One of my writers, a former CIA operative.
mm,
Guess what? She has information that
Yeah.
I'm never gonna have. Another writer, she has two parents who worked in the CIA. You know, a while ago, and she has information that I just don't have. Not top secret stuff. No one violated any laws, but, you know, just knowing stuff about the lifestyle, and it's a comedy. So, you know, the lifestyle of being a CIA agent. So sometimes it's just a particular skill set or background, excuse me. Then there's skill sets. This might step on the answer to a question I think you might be asking me. But there are people who are good, what we call in the room,
mm,
and then people who are good on the page. In the room is riffing, sitting around the table, eating unhealthy food for hours on end, just trying to come up with ideas.
Mm.
And there are people that are just amazing at that. I mean, I've worked with so many writers that are so good at that. And that's my favorite part of the job. Is writers' rooms are just magical. When I walked into a writer's room for the first time, I exhaled and I just went, oh, I'm home.
Yeah, I love it.
Like I just knew it because I was a lawyer for years before I did
Ah.
this, and I sucked at it, and I hated it. And I have nothing against lawyers, you know, but it's not what I was meant to do with my life. And when I walked into a writer's room, I just, man, I had come home. And I've worked with writers in writers' rooms who are just idea machines. I'll just pick one of the million I've worked with, but there's a guy, David Foster. Man, this son of a gun, every day another idea. Every day another idea. Just, he was like a Pez dispenser, and ideas popped out instead of candy. And he's also great on the page, but as an idea machine, he's tops. And then you have other writers who you read their writing and you just go, oh, they have a voice, and that voice matches this show. Caitlin Duffy, who is the writer who asked me if I would do this, she'll write outlines, just outlines. And in the outline, she'll write something. She wrote something about a guy who got shot in the head and how the gunpowder mark on the forehead. And she just wrote, she wrote something like Gunpowder Ash Wednesday. And I just went, my goodness, this is an outline. Why are you trying so hard? It doesn't matter. But but man, it was so good. And so there are people that you just write it. And when I hire a writer, I look at the writing, and I always do this thing where I number my scripts. I put a number on the cover page and I put a number on the back page of the script, and I tear the page off, the cover page off, and I throw them all in a drawer or a box. And then because when you get like 100 more than that scripts sent to you when you're trying to hire writers for a show. And then I read the scripts, and I don't read them all the way through most of the time, because I can usually tell within the first 10 pages or so if someone is the right type of writer for a show. But if something grabs me, when I'm done, I'll tell my assistant, do me a favor, find number 13, 74, 106.
Oh, yeah.
And then those are the people I want to hire. And that way no one can say, oh, you're playing favoritism because you worked with that friend's or that writer's brother or cousin, or that's an executive's nephew, and that's why you're hiring them. I'm like, I don't even know who they were. And I've been doing this forever, and everyone in town knows it's how I do it. And it drives agents crazy because they're just like, you got to look at John or Jen's script. And I'm like, I'll read it I'll read who I read, and whoever it is.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that. I absolutely love that.
yeah.
That's
And
very cool.
I've been burned. I once hired, and I once hired, and I'll say her name because she's a good friend. I hired Liz Bell not knowing that that was her. I didn't know her. Her script made me laugh out loud a dozen times. And then I hired her, and it turned out that her sister was an executive at CBS, which was the network where I was doing the show, but they had different last names because they had changed the last names at marriage.
Yeah.
And then I found out she's my boss's sister. And then I was terrified because I was like, if she sucks, I can't fire her. And then she turned out to be amazing, and she's a friend and I love her, but I could have been burned because so it can burn you a little bit too. But anyway, I'm sorry.
That's a great answer. So can you tell the folks a little bit about let me try the question right. The process of moving up, like how does the support staff get an episode and then move up in the room?
I have been very, very fortunate in my career. I have now, and I've lost count, but I don't know, 13, 15, 16, I think maybe close to probably over 15 former assistants that are now working members of the Writers Guild. Some are showrunners now themselves. And these are Jennifer Corbett. She started off as an unpaid intern for me, then got promoted to researcher, then got promoted to writer's room assistant, then got promoted to a writer on the show. And now she's a showrunner. She went from researcher to a working writer, or intern from work to working writer in, I don't know, 16 months. I mean, and I mean, so many. Damani Johnson just got his first show picked up. He's a former assistant of mine. Mary Trahan's a writer. Sam Littenberg-Weisberg's a writer. I mean, I can go on. And Caitlin Duffy, who I mentioned, is a former assistant. Kim Rome is a former assistant. These are all working writers in the business who are making a living, making up stories, for their career. And what I tell every assistant when they start off is it's really simple. And when I say assistant, they could be my personal assistant on the show. They could be the writer's room assistant. They can be the production assistant for the writers. And I tell them the same thing. And I go, listen, if you're a good writer and a good person, I'll do everything I can to help you. If you're a good person and a bad writer, I can't do anything for you.
Yeah.
It's impossible. If you're a good writer and a bad person, I won't do anything for you. Mm-hmm. And I just want to work with nice people. And I make it clear at the beginning, you're going to have an opportunity at some point to pitch me story ideas for this show, whatever this show is. And one of the best examples I can give is, by the way, as you can tell, I talk too much. I give long answers.
No, this is great.
If I know this is supposed to be a half hour, but if we need to go over, if people want to stay on, I can go over if that doesn't screw up your day. So, but I'll try to talk.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have a little time at the end myself, so no worries there.
Oh, okay. So, but Adrita Mukherjee, she was an assistant on Scorpion, and I gave her the same stupid speech. And I said, you're going to have an opportunity at some point to bring me some story ideas for this show. The show was called Scorpion or something. Well, not or something, it was called Scorpion. and I said, bring me the ideas. Do me a favor. Don't make the mistake of like rushing to bring me ideas. And here you go. Don't bring me a million ideas. Don't throw everything against the wall. I'm like, because then because being a showrunner, my hours are usually from 6 a.m. till midnight every day. It's awful hours. And I said, I just don't have the time to go through, hey, I'll throw the kitchen sink at the guy and maybe he'll pick one. I'm like, take your time, think them through and come up with episode ideas, write them up a page and a half, keep them concise, get to the point, and let me know what you're thinking story-wise. If there's something in there, I don't care if you're an assistant. I don't care. In my writers' rooms, there's no hierarchy of ideas. I don't care if you're, I always say, if you're managing a baseball team and some rookie comes in and hits a home run, well, you're going to keep playing that rookie. I don't care if they've never played baseball before. So Adrita went away, did her job as an assistant, did very well. I didn't hear from her for months. And I wasn't even, and I'll be honest, I don't think about it. I've got a writer's room of people coming up with ideas. If an assistant, I've had assistants I've had the same speech to, they never, ever, ever come to me with ideas. And usually within a year or two, they're out of the business. They don't really have that passion to do it, which is fine. If you have a passion for something else, go do it. And Adrita came to me months later, probably about 3-4 months later. And she just came to my office one day and she sat down and she said, here are my ideas. And I said, great. And she handed me about 10 or 11 pieces of paper stapled together. And each one was like 2-sided, about a page, page and a half. And I said, okay, I'll read these tonight. And that night I went through them. And the first one, you know, you just go, okay, this one is too much like an episode we already did. This one's too much like an episode we've already discussed and might already do. This one's like an episode from a different show that I saw. And by the way, this has nothing to do with Adrita. All ideas you see on TV, they've been done over and over again. And I look at the next one, I go, oh, this is going to be our next episode. I'm like, this is our next episode. And I went through and I'm like, no. Oh, yeah, this one will be an episode later in the season. And so I called her into my office the next day and I said, great news. I got good news and bad news. The good news is you're a paid writer. The studio is going to pay you for this idea. I already told them I love this idea. This is the perfect idea for when our main character's sister passes away. We'll tweak it a little bit. The bad news is you've never written a full episode of TV that's going to be seen by tens of millions of people all over the world before. So I have to team you up with Nick Wooten, and he's the worst person in the world. I'm kidding. Nick Wooten's one of my best friends. Nick Wooten is an Emmy-winning writer. He's so talented, the nicest guy. He and Adrita were already friends. I said, you guys will do this one together because you've never done it before. And he's going to be a great teacher and a great mentor. They did it together. Then when she was done writing it, I said, by the way, you're on set, you're producing the episode. She's like, I don't know what to do. I said, no one knows what they're doing. Just go there and be polite, be nice, and answer questions and make sure they're filming the intent of the scenes because I like what you wrote. So she went and did that. Then a few months later, she got another episode. And at the end of the season, I said to her, I have some bad news, you're fired. And she's like, why? And I said, because now you're a writer on the show.
Oh, I love it.
And so she became a writer. So that just follow the Adrita Mukherjee model.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the advice I can give anybody. She works her butt off. I was going to curse. She works her butt off. And she, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
There's no shortcuts. At the end of the day, you got to come up with good ideas and then write them well on paper. There's no shortcut. If you don't do that, it's over.
It comes down to that. So for the folks who aspire to be showrunners, what is one thing you wish they knew about the job? Or one thing you think they should know about the job?
No matter, you may have created the show, you're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to on everything. You're going to have to compromise on your scripts because there's not enough money to do the, apple orchard scene.
Yeah.
There's no apple orchard anywhere near where you're filming. The greens budget doesn't have enough money to bring in 20 apple trees that you'll then visually affect to make it look like there's hundreds, like stuff like that every day. If every writer could write and produce everything that they have in their head, you'd be shocked at how much better television would be.
Yeah.
Your favorite shows would be even better. So you have to compromise, which is fine. Compromise isn't always a bad thing. You have to learn how to write around the challenges. There's also something that's really, I guess that a lot of people don't realize is one, you don't have all the power in the world. You just don't, especially someone like me. I'm a knock around showrunner. I'm not a famous showrunner. I don't want to be a famous showrunner. I just want to write stories and hang out with my family and my friends. So I don't have that kind of power. It's fine. So you got to do those things. The other thing that a lot of people maybe don't realize about being a showrunner is not only do you not have all that power, but it's, man, I said, if I ever wrote a book about showrunning, it would be called Everybody Asking Me Everything All of the Time. Everybody is constantly asking you questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? And not how do you do it, but what do you want with this? Like I said, other than stunts, what should the guy be wearing? What should this actor be? Where should they be standing? What color do you want the room painted? It's just answering questions all day long. So you have to have a clear vision of what you want your show to be. It's a lot of, and the other thing I'd say about show running is, for me, it's the greatest job in the world. It's so much fun. It's hard, but it's so much fun. I love, I don't care if, listen, if one of my writers tomorrow creates a great show and I was fortunate enough that they asked me to just write on it, I don't need to show run. I just want to work with fun people. I'll work for any one of my former assistants that's running a show. Let them be my boss. I don't care. I just want to have a good time. I just want to make good stories.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay, well, the next question is a little on the long side, so I'm going to actually read this one.
All my answers are on the long side. So.
All right, where were we here? Okay, can you speak to looking to hire writers who fulfill certain strengths in the room? What are the positions on the team that you need in order to have a complete and balanced room? For example, if you already have someone whose main strength is world building or character, does another writer get passed on because they have that same strength?
I would say no, because it's kind of like, look, if you use the baseball analogy, you're like, I already have a home run hitter. Now I just want a singles hitter, or I just want someone who's fast, or this or that. You're just looking for the best overall people. There are people, look, I know no matter what, because when you write a show, if I'll use Adrita as an example again, because I just mentioned her. If she creates a show and I'm lucky enough that she would hire me, and I went to work for her, I would write a script. Adrita, I've been writing, I mean, I've literally at this point, and you can see the gray in my beard, I'm getting old. I've written a lot of scripts at this point in my life. And if I handed in a script to Adrita, she would rewrite it, because it has to be in her voice. It has to be what she's thinking for the show. So I know when I get a script from a writer, if there are some scenes or a little bit of dialogue or a moment that isn't, I'm like, oh, that's good. It might be great, but it's not, it might be perfect, but it's not perfect for this show. I will tweak it. And that's fine. I mean, every showrunner does that. And every script goes through every showrunner's laptop. So if I know I have to do that, or if I know I'm eventually, I don't always have to do it, but I know if I'm eventually going to do that, if someone looks like, man, they are going to be an idea machine. They are going to say, you know what would be great for this character? You know what would be great for Jon Snow? You know, what if at the end he has to stab his love Khaleesi in the stomach and the dragon takes her off or whatever? I'm just using an example. I know some people probably hated that ending. I'm indifferent to the ending. I don't know, but I'm saying, I'm just using it as an example. And someone says that, they're like, and you look at that, and you know, they come up with an idea like that, and then they come up with another good idea, and they come up with another good idea. If that's I'm seeing in the chat that people are already debating that ending. I'm stating, I'm giving no opinion on that ending of Game of Thrones. I'm just using it as an example. And I only say that because I watched it last night. I had never watched the show before, and I just finished it last night. But they come up with idea after idea after idea. I know if they're an idea machine, the scripts are going to get to where they need to be, because eventually it will go through my laptop, because as the creator of the show, you're the final voice of the show. So ideas are really important. I really look for that the most. Who are the idea machines? The other thing that I really look for when hiring people is, I don't know how to put it, but just good people, nice people. I ask around probably more than what kind of writer this person or that person. You know, I'll go with my instincts. I'll read the script, you know, without the cover sheet on it and all that. But if I hear he can be a little sharp in the room, he can be a little disrespectful, he or she doesn't always listen to the younger writers. They starts off strong, but by mid-season, this person coasts. When you start to get tired, when you get to the Dog Day episodes, which in a 22 episode season, those are episodes 13, 14, 15, 16. You're like, what am I doing? You know, life's too short
Yeah.
I like going to work and laughing my butt off from the minute we walk in the room to the minute we leave, getting work done and just
Yeah.
having fun. So those are the that's what I'm looking for. I know it sounds kind of amorphous, but
No. It's clear what you're looking for. We didn't come off as amorphous at all.
and I also want to state very quickly, I'm not saying that's the ending to Game of Thrones. I'm literally making something up that may or may not be the ending if anyone hasn't watched it yet.
Okay, so give us an example of something in a script that makes your life more difficult than it needs to be.
You mean when I get a script from someone and I need to, as a showrunner? Or
Yeah, on the show, yeah. I think on the show, if you get a script from someone, what's difficult as a showrunner to make happen? An example of that.
You mean actually,
something-
you mean to produce it?
Yeah, it says, what's an example of something in a script that makes your job harder versus easier?
Okay, well, I guess there's two things. One, something that's written where I go, how the heck are we going to produce this? But that's not really that's not a writer's fault, because the way we do our room, the way I do a room that I run, is we break the stories together as a team. I've been on shows where there's no writer's room and it's just eat what you kill. And you have to come up with ideas and you pitch it to the showrunner and go, here's my idea. And if they like it, you write it. I prefer writer's rooms. I'm not smart enough to come up with 22 episodes on my own. I'm not good enough. And so in the room, we come up with the story together. We break it together. It's on a board, every single beat in great detail. I know I've had executives, and I get frustrated with this, say to me, Nick, your outlines are too long. They're 18, 20 page outlines. We don't want more than like 9 pages. Literally have said to me, that's I'm not going to curse, but it's a pain in the butt to read. And my response is that's your job. You get paid to read this stuff. Don't come down on my team and I, because we're giving you all the information up front. I like long outlines. So if you have any notes or problems with it, you tell me now, not after one of my team has worked their butt off writing the script, and then you're going to give them tons of notes and ruin their weekend. Yeah. I understand you want to go to some fancy executive dinner tonight, but you're going to have to spend an extra 30 minutes reading an extra 10 pages. And I'm very firm on that. Early in my career, I had someone kept telling me, oh, I don't like these long outlines. I was like, I don't care. Yeah. And so I never see anything in a script where I go, oh my God, this is a problem. We never discussed this, because it's our team. It's our collective thing. But sometimes, especially in an action sequence, which, having done, Prison Break and Scorpion and Reacher and these kinds of shows, there's a lot of action in this stuff. Very rarely, but sometimes I would have, years ago, a long time ago, not today, writers who would basically write, and then the battle was fought. And I'm like, okay. Speaking of Game of Thrones again, you have these big battles. You're going to need to describe what help the director do their job. They need to know what to film. Help the props department know what they have to, buy and build. Help the stunts team know what they have to choreograph. Sometimes you get that stuff. For any writer, if you're handing it in, I'm not saying write 28 pages in the script describing a battle, but you better describe the battle or the car chase or the fight sequence to some extent, that the showrunner doesn't sit there and go, oh, well, I have to write the next 3-4 pages now completely on my own. So that's sometimes, but I tell you, I'm so lucky to work with the writers I work with. They're so good. I just don't have that. I don't really have that problem.
So going back to, you said the thing about, notes ruining the writer's weekend. The final question I have in my list for you, and then maybe we'll take a couple of audience questions if you're
whatever you want to do. Sure.
Through the ups and downs of this industry, what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated? I think you kind of answered that a little bit, but throughout the discussion, but let's hear it again.
Fish swim. I'm a fish swim. I'm a fish. I can't do anything else. I'm not good at anything else. I don't even know how good I am at this, but it's the only, I love to do it. I have no other abilities. I don't have any other talents. And, I don't know if any of the any of the people listening to this or whatever, I know other writers have said this to me. I know on days when I'm not productive, if I go to sleep at night, I can't go to sleep at night. I feel sick. I get depressed. I get down if I have not cranked out some pages.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do it. I don't like, you know, when I was 6 years old, I wrote a poem and I got an endorphin rush and I felt it. And I still feel it every time I write a scene, every time I write a page. I just, you know, I don't know. It's how I'm wired. And so I just don't have a choice. It's like, you know, it's an illness. Like you think of it, you think of an idea, you have to write it down or it drives you a little cuckoo. So.
Yeah, I think is it Neil Gaiman that has the quote, on the good writing days, nothing else matters. I mean, that's a little extreme. There are other things that matter, but it's true. You know, it's true.
I feel so great when I've written something well. And man, when you have a good day in the writer's room with your friends and you've laughed and you've helped each other and you've truly collaborated, it's like being, you know, it's like being on a sports team.
Yeah. Oh, what a great discussion this is, Nick.
Oh, thanks.
That concludes my questions. So I'll take, 2 or 3 of the audience questions and see what some of the folks are asking. I like this question. This is my first one for you. It's more of a practical question. As a showrunner, how much time is actually spent on the writing?
If you count breaking story, which I do, 50%, you know, not, 9 hours a day working on scripts and breaking story, and then 9 hours a day answering phone calls till all hours of the evening about this actor wants to do your show, but she's got a movie she's doing in the spring, and can we carve out this week or that week and stuff like that. That's another thing I don't know anything about. You need a good line producer, because I'm not good with calendars. I don't know. I just call my line producer and go, can we make this work? So I'd say half and half, because you're dealing with, trying to land actors for your show. You're dealing with, okay, we're $850,000 over budget on this script. We have to go through the script scene by scene and cut stuff out that costs money. We have to pick wardrobe. I have to go through blueprints, which is funny because my dad's a construction worker. So sometimes I'll show him stuff and I'll be like, is this big enough for an office? And my dad helps me because he's been reading blueprints his whole life. So about half and half.
Cool. Okay. Here is one from Cheryl. As a seasoned showrunner, if you're paired with a pretty green first-time show creator, what are the things you would like from this first-time show creator to be the best collaborator you can have? So what are you looking for in a collaborator?
If I'm teamed up, I've only done that once, where I was the showrunner on a show that I didn't create. Yeah, I only did it once. I'll never do it again. And the reason for that is I loved the guys that created this show. They're so talented. The pilot got shot, but it was for a platform that decided, almost like before we started shooting the pilot, we're not doing original programming anymore. It was like YouTube Red or YouTube Black or something like that, but they're like, we're not doing it anymore. So just, they took the pilot and put it on a shelf and it's there. I love these writers. They were brothers. They were fantastic. But it wasn't my show. And people were coming up to me and asking me questions. And I found all I was doing was looking to the brothers and going, well, what do you want? And at some point I was like, what the heck am I doing here? You don't need me. It's their show. They created it. Let them do it. And I just felt like a third wheel. No one made me feel that way. Everyone was respectful and wonderful. And I love those guys and we're friends and, great relationship. But if I'm in, I need to be all in on my idea. And if it's someone else's idea, they should be all in on it. And they don't need an old fart like me hanging around.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it absolutely makes sense the way you break it down. All right, so let's take two more questions. This one is from Kayla. Do you feel like your approach to show running regarding fostering talent and creating opportunities for growth is shared by other showrunners in the industry?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I know it is with some people that I know that I'm friends with. You know, I have friends that, look, I'll be honest. I don't try to foster younger writers. The reason it's because they were good. I could have easily wound up with 16, 20, whatever former assistants over the years that weren't good writers. And so there was nothing anyone can do for them.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to try to make the US Olympic track and field team, I don't care how badly I want it and how hard someone mentors me, I ain't making that team. I'm overweight and slow. It's not going to happen. And so I've just been fortunate that, or lucky, happenstance, that these writers were good. And I know there are other showrunners, friends of mine, who have helped other good writers move forward. Are there showrunners out there that are, you know, I don't know, who was it? I'm dating myself, but the old Bugs Bunny cartoons, or Daffy Duck, when he would find like a bag of gold, would go, mine, mine, mine. Are there showrunners out there that say mine, 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 and they don't want anyone else to get to write? I'm sure maybe there were jerks in every industry. My dad worked construction. There were jerks on his construction sites. You know, everyone's nice or bad depending on who they are. But I think that there are showrunners. I know there are showrunners. I have friends who, if they see a young writer, they're like, oh, she's good, he's good. Let's help him. You know?
Yeah.
And by the way, and it's also selfish. It's selfish for me, because I tell people all the time, I've had actors call me up and thank you so much for hiring me. This role changed my life. Now I just got offered a thank you, thank you. I tell anyone who ever thanks me for hiring them, do not thank me for hiring. I reject the thanks. It was a selfish move on my part. I am trying to get a season 2. I am trying to get a season 3. The only way I can do that, and we can all keep hanging out in the writer's room again. I told Caitlin Duffy once, I was developing a show, and she said, why are you trying to develop another show when you have a show on the air? And I said, because I have more friends that I want to work with. And the only way I can work and hang out with my friends and have a studio pay for our lunch every day, and we can hang out, is if I create more shows.
I love it.
And I have ADHD. I'm sorry, I lose my train of thought.
No, it's fine.
I forgot what I was saying. But basically, I know that there are showrunners out there that are trying to, so I always say, don't thank me. It's a selfish move. It's a selfish move. I'm hiring you because I think you can help this project, and that'll make all of us look good.
Yeah.
So I respectfully say, not taking your thank you. I've said that a million times to people. I'm like, I rebuke the thanks.
I rebuke the thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so final question. Katie would like to know how you got into show running. What was your trajectory?
Slow and steady. I started off, like everyone else, you start off as a staff writer, and then you slog your way through, and you go, staff writer, and then you'll go, story editor, assistant story. These are titles that don't really mean anything. Mm-hmm. It's just you gain experience, and you get, an increased title and a little pay bump as you climb the ladder. And then it's co-producer, and then it's producer, and then it's supervising producer, and then it's co-executive producer, and then it's executive producer. And you just, you put it on your back and you climb up the mountain. And that's what I did. And then after Prison Break, I had on Prison Break, and this was great advice I got from a guy named Matt Olmstead, who's a veteran writer, producer, showrunner. I was on Prison Break, and it was season 1 or season 2 or something like that. And I had an idea for a TV show that I thought was pretty good. And I pitched it to Matt, and I was like, hey man, I got this idea. He's like, that is a good idea. And I said, I'm going to go out and try to sell this. And he looks at me and goes, what are you, stupid? Like, what are you talking about? It's a good idea. And he's like, how much fun is this job? How cool is Prison Break as a show? And the writer's room, we all love each other. We're laughing all day. We're having fun. The show's a hit. People actually watching what we're making. Like, you sell your show, you got to leave. Then you go make that show. And what if it gets canceled after 2 episodes or a season? They're going to replace you here. So you're not going to have your job waiting for you. And he gave me advice. He goes, when you got a good thing going in this business, he's like, just say thank you.
Yeah.
And so I held on to it. And then when Prison Break ended, I went out with that show, pitched it, and it sold, and it wrote the pilot. And then it got picked up to pilot, and we shot the pilot. It's the highest testing pilot 20th Century Fox had in decades. So of course they didn't pick it up. And we're just like, literally got the phone call while out looking for office space because they told us it was guaranteed going.
Oh gosh.
And it didn't get picked up. And then another network picked it up I went and got a job on another show. And then months later, working for someone else. And then months later, I got a phone call and said, your show did get picked up. So I went and you know, ran the show with Matt, the guy I was just talking about. And that was the first time I became a showrunner. Then after that show ran a couple of seasons, I didn't have anything in development, and I went and worked on someone else's show. And that showrunner was a guy named Greg Walker, another veteran guy, very talented and a really nice person. And I remember he said to me one day, he was like, man, thank you so much for all you're doing. Like, you're a great producer, you're great in the room, and you're a showrunner. Like, is it, and he said to me, like, he was just being honest, like, is it hard for you? Like, you're not the boss. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I was a boss on the last show. I'm like, I'll hopefully get to create another show down the road. I'm like, I'm here to help you. And you got to put you have a huge, look, there are a lot of people in this business, like every business, but maybe especially in this business, that have giant egos. I'm not egoless. I'm a human being. But if you run around and you go, I'm never going to work for anyone else ever again, there's a lot of humble pie in this town, and they're happy to serve it up. So
yeah, they'll give you a slice.
Yeah, they'll give you a
Slice. That's great. Well, Nick, I'm going to call it done because I have to bounce to another session to moderate. But this has been absolutely wonderful, and I know from the amount of questions and the chat box that people have really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for joining us. It was really, really wonderful.
No, of course. And I just want to say, like, the chat things are kind of popping up. They were popping up real fast. I don't want people, just thank you. I didn't get to see most of the comments, but thank you for taking any interest. And thank you for taking care of dogs and the dog charity. That's really nice.
All right, everyone. Well, folks, thank you for being here. For those who are going on, enjoy the rest of the conference, and everyone have a wonderful Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.